Welcome to the narrowboat that James built. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining me. I'm at the dinette again. I've got a few days until I need to move off slow patrol onto this boat full time, and I've got some improvements to make on the dinette. You see there at the back, the cushion. I just want that to have a shelf behind it. Right, that's the kind of thing I'm going for. Obviously, it's a little bit too long, so it's bowing ever so slightly in the middle. So I'll trim it back slightly, but that'll kind of work. Kind of coming up to halfway on that cushion. When it's full back, yeah, let's see what it's like. I'll trim it a bit. Right, that's pretty much a decent fit. Once I attach it to the wall, it will kind of bring it down so slightly. And then I can attach another piece on there, and I can hide the gubbins off the fixings underneath that. And that will kind of take up that shape. And ditto across there. Yeah, I'm thinking that will work and kind of just hold that stuff down. Kind of give it something to lock into. Okay, this is where I've got up to so far. I think this is going to work. I need to secure the bottom of that underneath. There's quite a bit of void behind there, so I can kind of make a decent fixing to bond those two together, and it will kind of come up to there. And once I've made it, I'll then work out the exact position for it to be in. There's a gap under there, so that cushion there needs to be remade anyway, because the ends are horrific. And it needs to be a bit bigger so it pushes those ones in. Now those corner ones have lost a bit of their rigidity. I can kind of squeeze in a few more mil. Now I've got all the pieces cut, I can start to put on the brackets. So I'm going to put these ones on, so you won't be able to see them. Well, you won't be able to see them at all. Obviously they'll be behind all the cushions. So I've just kind of temporarily put this one in, but you kind of get the idea of that now. That's kind of a tightish squeeze to that. So I'm going to carry on doing the same all the way around. Right, I have managed to get the shelf kind of fixed together at both edges, or both corners. And it's kind of quite nicely rounded round there. It holds everything in pretty nicely. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied with that. Now I'm going to see if I can clad it in leather. I'm going to have to do it in bits, obviously, and try to conceal the gaps, or make sure there are no gaps. Right, the frame is together as one. Obviously it's got a bit of a wobble to it because, oh shit! Because, oh my god, because obviously it's pretty long and flexible. All the holes are marked out on the sides and the walls to fix it in place. And now I'm going to clad it in the leatherette. But before I do that, to make it a bit of a spongier feel, I'm going to use this stuff. I haven't got any wadding left, and I don't want to use wadding because it's horrible. So I'm going to use this, which is the leftover underlay for the floor. I reckon that'll be all right, just to kind of take off that lip there, really. Give it a bit of a cushioning feel. Right, I've covered that in the flooring underlay, and now I've got to go on with the leatherette. Right, this has gone quite well. This side's all done. I reckon I'll just pull them out a bit more. The leatherette's got to pull a bit more, but I can sort out those two little kinks. But yeah, that's quite nice. So I've kind of done all the way up to that corner now, and I think that's gonna, yeah, I'm hoping that's gonna work quite well. I think I can show you the underneath if I can. No, I can't. Right, this is some of the hardware I've got in these corners. I'm gonna put the leatherette over it, so that none of this stuff here snags. I mean, it's been covered by the other bits as well, mostly. But I'm going to just kind of cover it as much as I can to make sure that none of that stuff snags on the cushions. It's actually quite incredible how long that has taken me to upholstering leather. But I'm going to go and oh, Rob's back, he's turned his engine on. I'm going to go and attach it in place and see how it looks. Oh yes, yeah, that's pretty decent, and you can't feel it at all. Even if you really push back, you can't, like that bit there doesn't dig in at all. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's finished it off nicely. Happy days. Right, now it's obviously exposed this gap behind here, and there's some staple marks on that, on the bits holding it in on that side. There isn't here and there isn't on that bit there, but my plan is to go on with some acoustic wall panels which look really quite striking. It's like immediate decorating, and I think it would make this area look really quite complete, and it would look pretty cool, I think, if I had it just on the back wall there covering all of that, and up on this wall. And I think you can get it in a whole variety of colours. It's basically got like a black acoustic foam backing, and then you can get it in a whole load of different colours, which I think, yeah, if I go for walnut, then it will kind of tie in quite nicely. So yeah, that'll be the next step to hopefully complete the look of the dinette. Right, this is the walnut acoustic panel. You'll see it's got a flush side on there. Actually, it's got a bit of a recess on that side and a bit of a wider one on there, so that's the tongue which fits into the recess. So you've got to make sure you kind of orientate this the right way. But I'm going to have that piece on the outside edge of the wall. So what I'm going to need to do is, and I've got myself my scribed ceiling kind of line, so I'll do it down here actually. Oh no, I can't, I've got to do it out the wall. Okay, basically I've got to offer that up, cut that out, and then trim it, and then start to attach it on. Right, it's important that I get a nice clean line on this, because it's got to go straight up. That one's obviously fine, it's a factory line, but this one's going to have to go straight up against that thing that I've just made. Okay, I don't know if this is going to be all right. I presume it is. It's a multi-purpose blade, but I don't know if that includes foam. Let's see. Pretty easy work of that. Told myself I should have masked off that before I made the cut. I need to scribe that now to the contour of the ceiling, but that's actually quite a nice clean cut, that one. That went okay, not lovely. Let's offer that up. yes, instant decorating. This has taken quite a long time to measure, and hopefully I've got this right. Oh. Yeah, that's all right. It's a bit kind of funny on the eyes in a way. Let's see what it looks like with those flank lights on. Right, the way I'm going to attach this in place is just with some screws going through that black bit. I'm just going to use some black screws. But before I do, I've been playing around with the colour of it. I think basically this, as much as it says it's walnut, it kind of introduces a new colour to the boat. This is the walnut table I've got. This is walnut stained ply. But yeah, it's like another colour. So on this bit of offcut, I've applied some walnut stain to that one. I've sanded this back now to 400 grit. I only kind of went over it a little bit because it's only MDF veneer, so it's quite, you know, there's not much to it. But this made it much smoother than it was when I bought the piece. And on this one, it had quite sharp edges, whereas I've now kind of rounded them off slightly. So it's a much nicer feel to it. In terms of the colouring, I mean, that one I haven't sanded back yet. This one I have, so it's obviously lightened it up a little bit. But I do want it darker. These are the colours I've kind of played around with. So this is just basic clear yacht varnish, satin yacht varnish on there. This is satin yacht varnish with walnut stain on top, and that's just walnut stain. So I quite like this one. I found that the yacht varnish kind of makes the grain pop a little bit, whereas this one makes it quite dull. So when you put the walnut varnish on top of the popped grain with the yacht varnish on it, that's the colour it comes out with, and it's got a bit of a shine to it, which is quite nice. So I think, and then when I go on with the walnut stain on top of it, I can kind of do 1 or 2 or even 3 coats of it and make it as dark as I want it to go. So first off, I've got to put the yacht varnish on that piece. These are all the bits I'm using to occupy this space along here. And it's important that these are really good because that's going to be illuminated. So I'm going to put a strip of LED lights underneath that, so it'll kind of shine a light on all of this. So it's important that the bottoms of these are all quite nice. You'll notice there's a few different colour ones there because that was all part of the last panel. That was part of my test panel I did, and I've had to hack it up to get that little bit in there. So I'm hoping once all the varnish is on, it won't be too noticeable. That's it, just with the yacht varnish on. It's made the feel of it much nicer. Obviously it's MDF, so it's soaked in pretty quickly. But yeah, that's certainly a lot better. It's less barcode like, the contrast between the light and the dark. So Yeah, I think I might see what it looks like all like that, and then if I want to, I can put on the walnut varnish. That does look a lot better. It now kind of, the line there is more defined and that looks nicer. I'm still not sure though about, I mean, it kind of matches the table a bit. I just think it should be darker. I'm kind of toying with the idea of just doing those panels there, those strips there in line with this dark bit here, doing them in the walnut, and for it to look like the table's climbing up the wall. If I do this in a second coat of walnut, I'm going to do that just to see what it looks like. But yeah, I think I got to change the colour. I've got to make it darker still, because I don't know, maybe not. I'm really unsure. But when the door's closed, it kind of emphasises the fact that it's a different colour quite clearly. But this looks quite oaky at the moment. It feels so nice compared to what it was like. But yeah, it looks a little bit oak-like. I'm wondering if I should bring it down a touch in terms of the tone. Yeah, you see, I think if it was that middle one on this piece here, it's just a little bit darker. It's still pretty dusty in here. I'm kind of keeping it as clean as I can now. I've pretty much moved on full time. There's still quite a bit of stuff on Slow Patrol, but I've got to make a few storage things on board here before I can bring the final stuff over. But yeah, I'm well chuffed with how this looks. This is kind of really helped kind of shape and kind of make this area feel like home. I've tidied up the galley, so that's kind of just a galley now. Obviously I had to bring everything up from Slow Patrol to kind of put everything in its cupboards and everything, and there's plenty of room on here. There's loads more room on here than there was on Slow, so this is really good. Although accessing the stuff in the dinette is not particularly easy with all these cushions on, so I'm gonna have to think about my storage. But in terms of this, I'm well happy with how this looks. It's really kind of completed the look. It's well comfortable, and as I said, in time I might take these cushions to someone and get them to upholster them and get them to stitch them nicely or whatever. I've still got to redo this middle one. That's not good enough at all, and it sticks out a little bit too far, but you know, I can kind of make my peace with it for the time being. On Sunday, Sean comes and picks up the boat. I think his plan is to hang around for a little bit, for a day or two, and then he's taking up to North Kilworth Wharf. So I've got to basically empty the last bits and stuff off Slow Patrol and give her a clean, make sure she's ready for Sean. She's got full gas, 2 bags of coal, a bag of logs, full water, full tank of diesel. The only thing I need is a starter battery, because when I did try to start her, there was literally zilch. So I need to sort that out for him, which I'll do tomorrow. I've got a subscriber who's been on the channel before, Jim. He's coming over from Belfast actually for a couple of days. He's going to help me do a few bits on here, maybe help me kind of sort out Slow Patrol and things. So he's up for a few days, so that'd be nice. Until then, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.